Okay, to start with this morning, we are going to start our lecture by first of all looking at what we call the information about case study, the knowledge that we're supposed to have about what we call case study analysis. That is the first thing that we are going to do, because without those knowledge, it will be difficult for us to understand what case study analysis is all about. So we are going to look at that, and within the limit of our time, I'm going to ensure that we look at one case study, that of 2025, no, 2024, November diet, ICAN case study. So we can look at that together so that we can be able to have a knowledge. So going forward, when we have our other lectures on case study, it will be more easier for us to comprehend. So in case study analysis, the first thing that we're supposed to know and understand is that case study analysis require in-depth understanding of the case material. In-depth understanding of the case material, because the materials can be a bit voluminous at times. That the given material that ICAN will give us will be so voluminous that some can be 15 pages, some can be 20 pages, some can be 30 pages. And we have to read all these things, digest it, retain it, identify all the key concepts in the case, so that we are going to be able to make a perfect decisions, recommendations, and conclusion on the case. So case study analysis entail ability to stimulate and understand the real life situation of any case that is being given to us. So in
Sorry, sir.
our
Hello, sir. Are you just teaching now, or you're also sharing your screen? Just because your screen is not yet on. I'm just saying. Good morning, sir.
The screen is not yet. I know.
Okay, sir. Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
Yes, I know that the just for you to add the preambles and for you to jot down some things. So I will share the screen any moment from now. The screen will be shared to us. Hope that is understood.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in our preceding exam, we are going to be giving question, and that question we have at least 45%, or let's say 50%. At times it can be 40% of what we are expecting in the exam, in the proper exam. That's the reason why we call it pre-sim. So normally it will contain the information about the company, the role you are going to play, either as a consultant or employer of the company. They probably are reporting directly to the company, or you have external consultants that you are going to report to. So that's what we call pre-sim. So, and in some instances, like last diet, we are not being provided with any information about the financial statement of the company. That makes it a big tax and create a lot of anxiety for our students. But that notwithstanding, we still use our experience and professionalism to improvise some financial statement of a company and integrate it into the question. Because the question given to us only comprise of the information about the company, the business environment, whatever. That the only thing that we can do is to think of the appropriate models or theories that we can use. So instances do occur. We don't know what is forthcoming this diet. Maybe both financial statement and some other information will be duly provided or not. And that's the reason why it is our duty to guide you properly and give you a clue on how to pass this exam. So the moment we have the pre-sync question, we are going to look at it together some days to exam. So I and my team lead, Mr. Wasu Opola, including you, we are going to do a very rigorous and intensive reading. So we provide likely solutions. We into on the likely areas that questions may be asked. All the financial analysis, ratio analysis, gearing ratio, the financial status of the company and the rest will be done by Mr. Wasu Opola. Why Mr. Ali will take the theoretical aspect to tell you all the models that is applicable, how you are going to go with the model, the analysis of the business environment, and some information provided. And some informations are valuable, but they are scattered. You might not be able to have this ability to look for them here and there. So we are going to assist you. So the information provided to you, you leverage on that, go to exam hall by special grace of God, use those information and you are going to excel in the exam. We have been doing it and God has been saying amen to it. So yours will not be exceptional. So you can quickly jot this thing down and you can see that I've shared the ICAN November 2024 last diet. So what is case study? I'll provide a note for you on this in our next class. What is case study? A case study imitates or stimulates a real life situation. Quickly jot this down and I can type this for you when we are done with our lectures. Case study imitates or stimulates a real life situation. Apart from that, it contains a lot of uncertainties. It contains a lot of uncertainties and myriad of challenges facing organization. If that has been taken, case study have some traits. Any case study have some traits or esteems. And what are the traits of the case study? The first one is that it has no ready-made solution. It has no ready-made solution. And that's the reason why we call it a case study. We are the one that will provide the solution, recommendation for the organization. Identify the gray areas, areas of challenges and the rest, both financial and non-financial. So apart from that, it has no stated conclusion. All case study that they are going to give us, we read without seeing the concluding aspect. It has no stated conclusion. 3, it has adequate information. It has adequate information. So it comprises of large business problems. It's comprised of large business problems, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Also, it requires recommendations. It requires recommendations. That's some of the information that we must know about case study. So having looked at this information about case study, you can adjust this too. But the reason why I'm saying this is that it will be more interactive. So you two will be actively involved. That's why the fact I'm going to provide short note on these hints about case study. So what are the complicating attributes of a case study? Let's that be the subtopic. Complicating attributes of a case study. Complicating attributes of a case study. The first one is 1. It contains a lot of irrelevancies. It contains a lot of irrelevancies. they are using that one to waste your time, test your intelligence and the rest. Because those information provided, you might not need it. And that will make the case study to be lengthy. So it's comprised of a lot of irrelevancies. It has dead ends. It has dead ends. Apart from the dead end, it has some forceful information. Those forceful information was intentionally planted by the examiners. We say complicating attribute of a case study. It contains irrelevancies. It has dead ends. It has forceful information. Another complicating thing about it that is very, very key is that it has information not provided. Case study has information that are not provided and that must be provided from the given information. It requires provision of information that is not provided and that must be provided from the given information. So another important one is that it has scattered factual and important evidence throughout the case. So you are the one that will be picking your answers from various angles, from various pages, paragraphs. That's what I mean by it has scattered factual and important evidence throughout the case. So if that has been taken, what is not our duty in case study analysis? What is our duty? So the first duty that we have is one. Hello, hope I'm not too fast. I need a response, please.
Yes, the page is okay, sir. It's very okay.
Okay. God bless you, sir. So, what is our duty in case study? One, delete all irrelevancies. That is the first thing. You ignore or delete all the relevant information. Number two, we provide missing informations. We provide missing information and applicable theories or models. We provide missing information and applicable theories or models that justify information provided. So, what other duty are we expected to do? 3, find valuable evidences. You must find valuable evidence from the various part of the given case. Find valuable evidence from various part of the given case and integrate it into logical analysis. You should read and digest the case study, find valuable evidences, integrate it into a logical analysis. The last one is to develop a well-structured report. You'll be expected, and that's the reason why the case study exam is 4 hours. So you have to develop a well-structured report to be able to communicate. Develop a well-structured report to be able to communicate and present your report to intended users. I say that again. Develop a well-structured report to be able to communicate and present your report to intended users. So the question now is, the intended user there, who are they? It might be the consultants that require your service. It might be your immediate boss. It might be the company. It might be the board of directors. And that's why in case study, when it's come to the intended user now, you might be required to write probably internal memo or external memo. So anytime you are writing an external memo, there must be a disclaimer. So once you understand these preambles, then we are free to go. So another important thing that I want you to put as subheading is the 3 ways of reading case study. What are the 3 ways of reading case study? 3 ways of reading case study. Number 1, scheme reading. Scheme reading method or approach. Scheme reading method or approach. We call it a scheme reading method or approach because you are going to read at a faster pace, more or less glancing through all the pages. You read it faster and glance through the case. Once you have done that once or twice, you are okay. So the second method of reading case after glancing, skimming reading, is active reading and jotting. You now do active reading as if you are preparing for JAM. You know how we prepare for JAM those days and not this generation. You read in between lines. So that is active reading. While you are reading, you are jotting key and important points. While you are reading, you are jotting informations or elements that you need for your SWOT analysis, for your business analysis, for financial ratio analysis. That is what we call active reading and jotting. This might require reading it twice. So after our active reading and jotting, the last thing that we need to do, which is essential, is analysis and reflection. Analysis and reflection. So by that analysis and reflection, it simply means we analyze the content and implications. Analysis and reflection require analyzing the content and implication. It equally require finding areas of major or specific problems facing the company. So this analysis and reflection will equally require analysis of the financial statement, cash flow, and the health status of the company. Is the company healthy or not? So we use appropriate times, that is the terminology, when we are doing our reporting. And lastly, we provide alternative solutions. So once you have this basic knowledge, then in our next class, I will tell you how examiners can allocate marks for case study. So up to the executive summary, strategic thinking, in-depth knowledge about the case, they have how they structure all the marks. So all this information will be provided. So it will give us confidence and understanding of what case study is all about. So having looked at that, let's now look at the case study of November 2024. So this case study of November 2024 was done on Thursday, November 21, 2024. You can see the first page gives us the instruction, the examination instruction that we have to abide with. And while the second one gives us hints about the case study that we are about to read. And you must know that this pre-scene, once you have it, we have discussed about it some days to exam. You are not expected to go with this material to the exam hall. Some professional exams allow it. In fact, they even allow you bring it some textbooks and many more. But in ICAN, we are giving you this thing so that you can be able to read it, prepare your tentative exam solution, master it, and come to the exam hall. And when you look at the paragraph 2 here, that says you must not bring this material with you to the exam hall. Upon receipt of this material, you are required to spend the next few days to the examination day to familiarize yourself with the information provided. Carry out additional research and analysis about the industry. So you can see here, know what I'm talking about. The assessment of the case study. The mark in the case study material are awarded for professional skills and are approximately allocated as follows. This is what I want to provide you. We have it here. How do we allocate the mark? 1, assimilating and using information. So ability to assimilate faster, retain those information, and use those information in appropriate exhibit or session of your solution. That one carries 20 marks. Structuring problem and solution. How you identify, structure the problems, provide solutions and recommendation. That one attracts 20 marks. Applying your personal judgment about the case scenario, about what the organization can do. So your expert opinion and application of that opinions, experience, and judgment. So that one attracts 20 marks. Drawing conclusion and making recommendations. It has a lot of weight. It attracts 20 marks too. So the demonstrating integrative multidisciplinary skills, that is 10 marks. And I've told you that you must have that ability to find solutions from the case, inject additional solutions, integrate them together, and make recommendations. It's give you 10 good marks. And presentation of appropriate appendix, executive summary. What is the appendix? If you like, you can put page. Internal memo, external memo, financial statement, relevant model. So you have to present appropriate appendix. Ability to do that, and remember, we don't allow the exam tension for you to be carried away. You must not be under tension. Be yourself. Be confident. So appendix attract 10 marks. That 10 marks is enough to pass this exam. So the essence of the case study is to test your knowledge, and you discover that the case study cut across nearly all the courses that you have been doing, from the foundation level up to the professional level. So having looked at that and discussed on that, so let's look at the 2024 case study now. The case study is about the company that we call Travex Hotel Limited. Travex Hotel Limited. So these are the list of the exhibits that we can see on our slide. The list of the exhibits. Number 1, about you, Dan Kabir. So your name changed now to Dan Kabir, and you are employed by Techno Consulting Services. So the examiner is telling you, you now bear Dan Kabir, and the name of your employer is Techno Consulting Services. Exhibit 2 talks about the Nigerian economy and the hospitality industry. Exhibit 3 discuss about the business environment and challenges facing the hospitality industry. Exhibit 4 talks about the Travex Hotel Limited, their history, board, management, and competition. So Exhibit 5 discuss on the Travex Hotel Limited, there are 3-year summary financial statements. All these place, the financial statement, Mr. Wasu Opola will do expert judgments and analysis for you there. So SB6, we have hospitality business. And the focus there is that the examiner discussed comprehensively on the sustainability and innovation in the hospitality business. So let's now look at Exhibit 1. In this Exhibit 1, permits me to ask, do we have someone that will read the Exhibit 1 for us? I should read, because case study must be interactive. And the reason why I allow you to jot down some things on your own this morning, even our pre-scene analysis that we are going to do, we ask you questions. What do you suggest? What do you think are solutions to this? What can the company do? Before we too will now ship in our own contributions, expertise, and experience. Can we have someone that can read for us?
Okay, I read
Hello.
Exhibit 1.
Thank you, sir.
You are Dan Kabir, writing the professional level of ICAN examination. You are employed as a training consultant by Techno Consulting Services, and you report to Michael Kikuma, partner in charge of the hospitality group within the firm. Your responsibilities include preparing detailed financial analysis and reports on the performance of the firm's hospitality clients, analyzing your client's financial statements to identify areas of weakness and providing solutions to management, assessing your client's operational and strategic business proposal with a view to evaluating their alignment with the client's objectives and the extent to which relevant business and financial risks have been considered, assessing your client's financial and business forecasts together with the assumptions upon which they are paid to suggest recommendations to the clients, and also drafting reports for the partner based on the operational and strategic business analysis you have carried out. This responsibility demands that you keep yourself abreast with developments in the hospitality industry, both nationally and internationally, so that you can be able to carry out above tasks effectively. Techno Consulting Services is a highly reputable consulting firm employing over 1,000 employees and specializing in high growth industries, including the hospitality industry. End of Exhibit 1.
You can see that is the end of the Exhibit 1. So the examiner tells us about you. That is the new employee, Dan Kabir, that was employed by Techno Consulting Services, and all the expected responsibilities to be carried out by Dan Kabir was highlighted. And they only give us just one or two information about the company, which I know they are going to do probably in the next exhibit. That is a reputable organization, and it has over 1,000 employees as the capacity of their employee strength. And where the company is operating, Techno Consulting, they are operating in a specialized, high-growing industry, including the hospitality industry. So let's look at Exhibit 2 so that we now do justice together. So, Exhibit 2. I will read Exhibit 2 while I implore another person to read Exhibit 3. It must be an interactive class. Exhibit 2, the Nigerian economy and the hospitality industry. Nigeria is one of the biggest markets in Africa, and has a population of over 200 million people, with a youth population that provide Nigeria with an advantage over many countries. In addition, the country is endowed with excellent weather conditions, many tourist attractions, and significant natural resources, including oil and gas. The economic heavy dependence on oil and gas has decreased in the last few years. For example, in the third quarter of 2022, activities in the oil and gas sector accounted for about 5.6% of the Nigerian gross domestic products, down from 7.5% recorded in the third quarter of 2021. However, Oil and gas revenue remain a crucial source of government revenue, constituting 29% of total government revenue in the first half of 2022. Though crude oil and gas continue to account for the bulk of Nigeria export earnings, efforts are in place to diversify the economy while ensuring the country emerging security. The rate of growth and development has been hindered by a number of issues, including poor implementation of government policy, the high cost of doing business, the poor state of essential infrastructure, insecurity, corruption, challenges with the judicial system, low level of transparency and accountability. On the implementation of government policies, until recently, the Central Bank of Nigeria had imposed extended control on several product categories and intervened in the market to keep the official naira rate from depreciating. Though steps were taken to harmonize exchange rates in the past, this was not fully addressed until the resumption of the new administration. This notwithstanding, one of the most daunting challenges for business entering the Nigerian market is the limited access to foreign exchange, thus reducing the ability to import necessary inputs and equipment and to service external debts. Foreign exchange is tightly managed by the Central Bank of Nigeria, and users trade in the alternative market for their unmet needs. Mind you, the users there is referring to organizations, corporate organizations. Despite the challenges, Nigeria, Nigeria presents with significant opportunity for local and international entrepreneurs. The development of the digital economy, ushering the massive use of technology, has continued to provide opportunity for developing population and helping organizations to transform their processes, minimize costs, and maximize shareholders' returns. For instance, by leveraging data, business can gain valuable insight into their inventory, receivable, and cash flow, enabling them to make more informed operating, investing, and financial decisions. The hospitality industry in Nigeria. At a time, Nigeria has the fastest hospitality market in Africa, with a projected 12% compounded annual increase from 2029 to 2023, according to an expert projection. In early 2020, however, the COVID-19 pandemic spread globally, and the tourist industry was one of the worst hit. This slowed down the growth in the hospitality industry in Nigeria. Tourism, a related industry, contributed about 10% of the global GDP. This was expected to rise in 4 years with significant upward movement in some African countries, including Nigeria. In Nigeria, the contribution of the travel and tourism to our GDP was 5.1% in 2019. However, in 2020, the upward trajectory slowed down due to the pandemic. As the world continued to adapt to the changes brought about by COVID-19, but slow returns. So apart from the COVID-19, the green revolution or environmental sustainability is a development impacting the hospitality industry. According to a research by Jamie Sutton, it has to think more carefully about the way they travel. They will seek out hotels and travel companies that are doing everything they can to minimize their impact on their planet. We can also expect accreditation to gain prominence. Consumers look for reassurance from legitimate ecotourism certification and we want to book trips that leave them feeling better than before when they return home. Wellness tourism will be increasingly popular. So globally, there is an optimistic projection that the hospitality industry will make a remarkable return. However, only the prepared can make a quick return, and to do so require an understanding of the uniquely changing needs of customers and clients. Nigeria needs to take a proactive approach in order to be at par with global best practices and not wait for others to take advantage of the relatively small market that is just making a rebound. According to Jolite, the COVID-19 pandemic will eventually fade, the economy will recover, and the hospitality sector, restaurants, hotel, casino, sport, etc., will regain its footing and look forward with confidence to a successful training future. However, now is the time for companies to act, adapt to the new normal, position themselves for environmental friendly and sustainable business, and thrive in year ahead. You can see how lengthy the that talks about the hospitality industry and the Nigerian industry. So quickly, let someone read Exhibit 3 for us.
Exhibit 3: Business environment and challenges facing the hospitality industry.
We are
Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa, with a growing middle class and rising international trade and investments. The hospitality industry in Nigeria is on a growth trajectory and has shown significant growth over the years, driven by factors such as increasing business travel, tourism, and the growth of the Nigerian economy. However, the COVID-19 pandemic put a temporary halt on the industry's growth as players in the industry grapple with the aftermath of the pandemic. The business environment of the hospitality industry in Nigeria is characterized, supported, or challenged by the following. A. Tourism and business travel. Nigeria is a diverse country with many rich cultural heritages, natural attractions, and historical sites. This has led to growth in domestic and international tourism, boosting the demand for hotels. Additionally, Nigeria is an economic hub in West Africa, attracting business travelers and corporate events. B. Economic factors. Nigeria's economy is one of the largest in Africa. Crude oil and gas exports, telecommunications, finance, agriculture, and recently technological pursuits are significant contributors. Economic growth has a direct impact on the demand for hospitality services as it leads to increased business activities and disposable income for leisure travel. C. Infrastructure. Adequate infrastructure, including well-maintained roads, airports, and communication networks, are crucial for the growth of the hotel industry. Improved infrastructure makes it easier for both domestic and international travelers to access various parts of the country. At the present in Nigeria, some of such infrastructure are in a poor state, mainly due to poor maintenance culture. In addition, challenges presented by unreliable power supply and inadequate waste management systems have adversely impacted the operations of the hospitality industry. D. Regulation and government support. Government policies and regulations play a significant role in shaping the business environment. Supportive policies that promote tourism, investment, and ease of doing business can positively impact the hotel sector. The federal government has put several policies in place as a form of incentives, including tax incentive for the industry to thrive. E. Security concerns. Security has been a challenge in Nigeria due to factors such as terrorism, kidnapping, and civil unrest in certain regions. The perception of safety can affect both domestic and international travel decisions, potentially impacting the hotel sector. F. Competition. The hospitality industry in Nigeria is competitive, with both local and international chains vying for market share. Major international hotel brands often enter the market in collaboration with local partners, yet they still face stiff competition from smaller, owner-managed hotels and guest houses. G. Technology and online booking. The growth of online booking platforms has changed the way travelers search for and book hotels. Hotels need to have strong online presence and provide seamless booking experience to remain competitive. H. Cultural diversity. Nigeria's diverse culture and language presents challenges in catering to the preferences of various customer segments. Hotels that can accommodate a wide range of cultural preferences and dietary requirements may have a competitive edge. I. Continuously changing consumer demands. According to some CEOs of international hotel chains, the hotel customer is more culturally oriented now, which makes understanding the more difficult. Regardless of the amount spent by the customers, they are more interested in the value obtained for the money spent. Luxury is a term which has many definitions now and changes around customer perceptions more than ever. Brand or a well-designed hotel is not enough anymore, but the customer's experience matters most. J. Competition from hotels alternatives such as apartment buildings. The hotel sector performed exceedingly well over the last few years until COVID-19 pandemic stunted the growth. Although the outlook appeared brighter from 2022, the sector still faces serious challenges that could threaten its development. One of the biggest threats to hotel, which emerged in at about 2017, is competition from apartment buildings. Boutique firms have also entered this business line, providing in some instances fully equipped accommodation for travelers who love to prepare their own meals as an alternative to staying in the hotel. K. Ineffective marketing due to technological shyness. As technology continues to impact day-to-day human operations, hotels have been forced to reevaluate their marketing efforts to capture the ever-growing online market. Unfortunately, although a lot of hotels have embraced the internet and all aspects of digital marketing, many are still relying on old marketing practices. L. Difficulties with energy management. A lot of hotels are going green and smoke-free. This is a great initiative as the planet fights global warming and other climate-related issues. Moreover, it is also a smart move to get more profit and edge over the competition. Hotels must start investing in eco-friendly and renewable energy sources because customers are on the lookout for green and sustainable hotels. People want to contribute positively to climate control initiatives, and staying in eco-friendly and green hotel is one such initiative by a lot of frequent travelers. Establishments that refuse to take issues of sustainability seriously will be impacted negatively as their overall profit margin will likely suffer. M. Poor customer satisfaction as daylights become expectations. With more technological advancement, their entry barriers are lowered, and new competitors and disruptors are appearing on the scene. Poor customer satisfaction has been one of the major hotel sector challenges in the past and continues to be so in 2022. This is to intensify with growing competition and better customer management tools. N. Shortage of trained and specialized personnel within the hotel sector. The sector has suffered from this shortage, but with greater automation, this is set to become more challenging. Hotels that do not prioritize employment of trained and specialized personnel are bound to face more serious challenges in their service industry. Finding the right people may be more challenging for smaller hotels. O. Supply chain management. The role of supply chain management in the hotel sector is crucial to attaining sustained competitive advantage. A well-managed supply chain can be the key difference between a successful and an unsuccessful hotel operation. Multiple stakeholders are involved in the supply chain of the hotel sector's business, and they face many operational risks, which include risk of holding large inventories at high holding cost, risk of preserving perishable goods at high storage costs, etc. Increasingly, the effective development deployment of IT to inventory management has resulted in significant net benefits to the sector. Move on to Exhibit 4, while I believe you will get back to us. Exhibit 4, Travel Hotels Limited, History, Board, Management and Competition. On history, Travel Hotels was established in Abuja, Nigeria, as a 5-star hotel in year 2001 by a group of investors who specialized in the hospitality business. The management of the hotel was given to MTS, one of the top-rated international hotel chains. Travex Lagos was constructed in Lagos in 2010 and started operations in 2012 in a highbrow area of Lagos. Travex Hotel has become the most patronized hotel in Abuja and Lagos for functions such as conferences and international meetings and seminars. The hotel is a lodger's delight and has warmed itself to the hearts of tourists and travelers visiting either Abuja or Lagos. The hotel also boasts of high patronage from both the state and the federal government in Nigeria. Many professional bodies in Nigeria normally host their annual conference in Travex Hotels. Therefore, the hotel has been improving the bottom line on a yearly basis. Board. Travel Hotels Board consists of 8 executive and non-executive directors. The current board members are Mr. John Dagash, the chairman, Mr. Richard Roy, the MD/CEO, Mrs. Felicia Ademiloye, non-executive director, Mrs. Rebecca Palm, non-executive director, Mrs. Joan Adebayo, business development or innovation director, Mr. Amos Sawyer, non-executive director, Mr. Tafida Sabir, non-executive director, Ms. Bulu Adelonwa, independent non-executive director. Among the management of the committee of the hotel consists of the following: Mr. Richard Roy, the MD/CEO, Mrs. Joan Adebayo, business development and innovation director, Mr. Richard Penn, who is general manager, Mrs. Deborah Brown, who is the chief financial officer, Mrs. Juliana Fulusha, who is the supply chain manager, Mrs. Christy Chukura, who is the human resource manager, Mr. George Akman, who is the head chef, Mr. Joseph Ibironke, who is the facility manager. Competition. Currently, the hotel is facing stiff competition from new entrants into the industry with highly luxurious rooms and suites. These competitors, having penetrated the core customer base of Travex Hotel, constitute a source of significant worry to management and board. If the management of Travex Hotel does not rethink the hotel's business model, the hotel may soon start to experience declining patronage, which will result in poor financial performance. End of Exhibit 4. Okay, I read Exhibit 6. Hospitality business in terms of sustainability and innovation. Research showed that 2 major drivers of competition and profitability in the hotel sector today are sustainable business practices and application of technology to innovation in business processes. In fact, in today's global business environment, companies that fail to take sustainability initiatives seriously run the risk of going out of business because of rising consumer awareness. Corporate behavior is shifting too, as institutional investors increasingly favor sustainable business practices and governments offer incentives and tax benefits for going green. Historically, the hotel sector has had some negative impact on the environment in ways such as impact of water and energy consumption and heavy use of materials that produce solid and hazardous waste. Hotels consume a high level of energy for heating, ventilation and air cooling (HVAC) operations, lighting and other power needs. Therefore, many hotels have taken sustainability issues very seriously and are now going green. Also, hotels are developing strategies to reduce greenhouse emissions and waste. With development in technology, hotels are using the following innovative strategies in their sustainable business practices. A. automation for conservation of water and energy. These days, many hotels have automatic faucets installed in the public spaces and restrooms. These faucets are equipped with sensors that dispense water only in the presence of a user's hands. This is one of the convenient methods to save water because of regular inflow of guests. In fact, using these motion sensing faucets at hotel can save water use drastically. B. Magnetic keycard facilities. These keycards act as connectors to complete the circuit and allow the flow of electricity. The moment these cards are taken off from their slots in the rooms, the circuit is broken, resulting in power cutoff. It is one of the popular eco-friendly amenities used in hotels to save electricity. C. Green energy. Many hotels have invested in solar heaters, biofuels, CHP, combined heating and power, wind farms, and geothermal energy. Solar power is one of the best ways to harness and store energy for use as an alternative source of electricity. D. Implementation of the 3 Rs: reduce, recycle, and reuse. One of the important ways to create an eco-friendly environment is by using the 3 Rs. Reduce. This is the reduction of the amount of waste generated in hotels. It is better to avoid using materials that are unfriendly to the environment. Secondly, recycle. This is not limited to plastic or glass. Various things such as fused bulbs, cans, cartons, and cartridges can be recycled. Waste treatment is another alternative for materials that cannot be recycled. Thirdly, reuse. Paper, toner, cartridges, or linen, if the room has the same guest staying for a couple of days, can be reused. Apart from these innovative ways being used as sustainable practices, development in technology have further led to innovative ways of enhancing hotel operations. Innovation in the hotel industry is important because it has the capacity to transform it positively. Two of these developments, as adopted from research works, are 1. Chatbots. AI robots adopted by some hotels can provide guests with information that they need when they interact with them. These robots are designed to learn and adapt to human beings, so the more it interacts with people, the more effective it will be in the future. There are a lot more robots operating in the hotel sector already. They add value to the industry by supporting human interaction, especially for services during all times and services that require lifting of weight or automation. Chatbots have also been extremely useful when it comes to responding to customer complaints online, as well as chat services that deal with simple customer requests. Chatbots can engage customers at any point of the day, and this kind of response time is invaluable to customers. This would add immense value to customer support in the hotel sector, which has quite a few routine queries. Indeed, AI has the potential to redefine the hotel business. B. Keyless entries, smartphone operated room. With free companion apps in the market, it is now possible to control a hotel room remotely through phone or tablet to turn on the TV, browse, and order for food and so on. It is one of the best hospitality technologies that have already been in operation in many hotels now.
That our pricing question will only give us 40, 45%, or at most information that we need. So we have a task to still read and digest in the exam hall. So as a result of that, so we have to read this exhibit 1 to 6 again in exam, because there is tendency that some of the information they give us in the pre-scene are not complete. There might be some information that they have removed or deleted. So when you now have our scene in exam, that is the time we are going to see the full question and all the missing information and some pages that was not provided to us. So looking at that case study that we have read now, so we can summarize it. We can summarize it in many forms. So one of the way we can go about it in our exam is this. Let me share the slide that I quickly put down on that case study while we are reading. So the first thing that we have is this. We have to pencil this down, all the information provided. You can see the way I've done it. First, Travex Hotel Limited. So what are the list of the SCBs provided by the examiners? One, they give us about you, Dan Cabri and the employer techno consulting services, the Nigerian economy and the hospitality industry, the business environment and challenges facing the hospitality industry was provided. Apart from that, they give us Travex Hotel Limited, the history, board management, and competition. Number 5, Travex Hotel Limited, the 3 years summary of financial statement was equally provided. And lastly, hospitality business sustainability and innovation. In our exhibit 1, I quickly summarize the information there that we have in the exhibit 1. The information we have is exhibit 1 about you, Dan Cabri of Techno Consulting Services. What are the hints that we need to know? Dan Cabri, employed as a training consultant. Was employed as a training consultant. B, Techno Consulting Services is the employer of Dan Cabri. C, Michael Shukuma is a partner in charge of the hospitality group within the firm. D, Dan Cabri reports to Michael Shukuma. E, Dan Cabri official employment responsibility was highlighted. That was the first thing that we have in exhibit 1. So F, Techno Consulting Services strength that was presented in exhibit 1 that just 2. I told you that they have 1,000 staff, they operate in highly growing industry, and they told us that they are a reputable organization. So if you can be able to have the ability to simplify it this way, you are going to have a full grasp of the entire case, no matter how lengthy the page is. So what is the implication of that exhibit 1? I've assisted us here. The exhibit 1 implication indicates that 1, there is a change of identity about you to Dan Cabri. Your identity change in exam to Dan Cabri. B, there is evidence of new employer. That is the Techno Consulting Services. The third one is that Dan Cabri is expected to report to his superior boss, Mr. Michael Shukuma, based on the condition attached to his employment letter of confirmation. In number 4, there is evidence that external reports will be written since clients are involved. Number 5, there is need to put a disclaimer. We are putting the disclaimer since it is an external report, and evaluate the financial strength of the company, their financial risks, ethical issues, investment appraisal by Dan Cabri. In our exhibit 2, the exhibit 2 is all about Nigeria economy and the hospitality industry. That one is so voluminous. It has a lot of information that we need, a lot of information that we don't need. So the summary of information provided about Nigeria economy in exhibit 2 are the following. So when you look at the summary, you discover that number 1 I put there is that Nigeria is ranked among the largest markets in Africa. Nigeria is densely populated with over 200 million population. Another key information, it has high and increasing youth population that offer promising socio-ecology, political future. So apart from that, summary, Nigeria is blessed with abundance of resources, basic factors that attract a lot of local industry and multinational big companies across the globe to Nigeria. Some of these natural resources are crude oil, gas, tourism, good climatic conditions. And in number 4, we are informed that the present governments now, they are trying to reduce the dependence, the undue dependence on crude oil, and neglected segments will be able to be productive and generate revenue to the government and increase the gross domestic product that the government can use to execute their fiscal and monetary policy. So in that issue, we are informed. Despite the effort to identify and advance the technology and innovation of the Nigerian economy, yet crude oil generate the highest returns to the Nigerian government. So what are the challenges? Then let us speak one or two, because we are informed that there are myriad challenges facing the Nigerian economy and the government. One is difficult policy implementation by the government, declining growth and development, increasing operational costs. We still have that one up to now. That's why that we are not in pandemic era, we are in post-pandemic era. Deficiency in infrastructural facilities, insecurity, and corruption, to make a few. But before we leave this particular page, we must realize that they told us that the CBN intervention and regulation of the Nigerian exchange rate is not helping matter. Of course, restricted access to finance. That a lot of users now, they are now thinking of buying from alternative market, black market. Buying from black market will increase their operational costs. So that means the company will be leveraging on borrowing loans and some other things. So they might likely have liquidity challenges to finance other businesses that they have. So, and that foreign exchange problem too, we are informed it causes challenges of balance of payments. No, we read it once. By the time you read it twice and use this guide, it will really, really help. So the Nigerian hospitality industry, this one we are informed that it offers a promising future. And in the post-COVID era, we can say affirmatively that Nigerian hospitality industry will go back to the normalcy. Because this hospitality industry that you see, we are informed that it is digitalized and we continue to generate a lot of employment opportunity for the timid youth population of Nigeria. So the hospitality industry, because of the innovation, digitalization, investment in technology, and you can see that SAB6, the level of investment up to the use of AI. So this one boosts the industry, it boosts the reputation of the company, and it brings about maximization of shareholders' profit and return on investment. So the hospitality industry, a lot was said about the hospitality industry. And we are informed that the reason why many local companies are intensifying efforts to have a competing industry in hospitality industry, and those ones that are coming from overseas, is because Nigeria is regarded as a tourist hub and attracts local and foreign travelers across the globe. So the hospitality industry in Nigeria specifically, they say it's a promising sector with projected 12% contribution to GDP from 2020 to 2023. I wish I know the figure will have increased now. So in the hospitality that I mentioned, the sudden emergence of COVID-19, that's point number 2, affected performance in the hospitality industry. So all this information we have them, we are just repeating this because to take much of our time. And let's go to what we are going to do based on this information. So I've summarized everything in that SCP. So what is the summary that I provided? This is exactly what me and my team lead, my scholar, Mr. Wasu Opola, will do for you in your next coming exam. We are going to digest this case study like this, streamline it, give you a narrow focus on the information need. All the relevant things, we will delete it. The financial aspect is going to do a expert judgment, which I trust it. In the areas of the models and theories, I will make my humble contribution. And it's going to be a valuable contribution that will enhance your success in the forthcoming exam by special grace of God. So that SAB2, you must note, in line with the promising and potential growth opportunity in Nigeria tourism and hospitality industry that ask local and global investors. There are myriad of challenges aside COVID-19 pandemic that pose serious challenges to financial costs, financial returns, and competitiveness Travex Hotel. Notable among these are these. Notable challenges are restricted as foreign exchange and trading in the black market. 2, decaying infrastructure and insecurity. So, expected of Travex is Travex must place strategic management plan and strict financial control to overcome the hindrances and achieve their predetermined goal in the short, medium, and long time. That's how we can write beautifully. And you discover that what that I provided, it might not be all the information that we need, but it depends on what the examiners require us to do. So once we do this, it will reduce the tension, the panic. How will I go about my case studies or whatever? You will be able to have that confidence and undiluted focus on how you're going to tailor your answer. The aspect 3 that my Oga read for us comprises of the business environment and challenges in the hospitality industry. So that aspect, a lot of students was lost. They don't know how to approach this exhibit 3. But we put light in the gray areas. So what I told the students to do is that in this place now, this is where you need your pestle analysis in exhibit 3. The examiner will not tell you. It is your duty and the duty of your facilitator. And this is my area. That what you are going to do in exhibit 3 is that you must use pestle analysis. And you can see that here now you learn something new. That all the information that was scattered in the case from exhibit 1 to exhibit 6, I was able to classify them using pestle analysis. How do we go about that? Using the information provided in the preceding case, the business environment can be analyzed by using pestle analysis. I even included seal analysis and Porter Diamond story as shown below. 1. P for political environment. What are the things that are relevant? The information mentioned in the case that we can categorize and put under political environment. The political environment, they mention huge government investment in technology to reduce over reliance on oil gas and diversify the economy. Is a political statement. 2. Provision of tax relief and incentives by Nigerian government. 3. Environmental and sustainability law and policy. So this one will promote ecotourism. It will help in the regulation of the business. It will prevent unethical business practices and violation of the environmental sustainability goals. So the second alphabet, E, in the pestle, economic environment. What are the economic environment or indices that they mention in the case study? We are informed of clear evidence of abundant natural resources. You put it under E, economic resources. 2, promising economic growth aided by investment in technology is under E2. Increasing disposable consumer income for travel is under economic environment. Security challenges, decaying infrastructural facilities, epileptic power supply, including poor lean manufacturing. Under the economic environment, biggest challenges that is affecting importation, operational expenses, and purchase of foreign equipment is the CBN restriction of foreign exchange access. So we have been able to do two. That is political and economic environment. The third one is social factors. What are the factors? Evidence of diverse cultural heritage. That is one. Two, growth in local and global tourism due to preference for traveling and tourism in Nigeria. So another thing that we have there that is causing a lot of difficulties for companies in the tourism industry to retain their existing customer is continuous and drastic changes in the customer's demand, perceptions, value, and ecotourism. You can discover that they are requesting for green tourism. So, and equally, the last one here is very germane. There is changes in the consumer lifestyle and buying habits, and that is due to the pandemic. The lifestyle of people changes, so they now become eco-friendly, and they have more literacy about ecotourism and environmental sustainability. So this requires a lot of investments in manpower by Travex industry, Travex and some other participants in the industry. In the technological factor, we have robust government investment in technology to boost hospitality industry, economic diversification via technology driving government policy, increasing online customers transaction. So all these ones fall under technology. So in the areas of ecological, you call it ecological factor, you can call it an environmental factor, call it demographic factor. They are the same thing. In form of natural attractions, favorable climatic conditions, attractive tourism location, and reduce smoke. That's a reduction in environmental pollution. And this is as a result of the environmental sustainability laws put in by the government. In compliance with this one, reduce smoke, pollution of all forms. Under that one, we have the government tax policy, government technological advancement policy, environment. You can see the arrangement. And that's the reason why I can say for logical arrangement of solutions and recommendations, it attracts 20 marks. Under the competition, yes, we are in form of competition. There is intense competition in the industry from both local and international firms. There is evidence of collaboration strategy between local and international firms. That is done because of uncertainties about competition and to gain survival. The level of competition is so intense to the extent that we have some people that are not fully in the industry, local companies that are using their apartments, their boutique firm, or their space to do hotel business, all these short rates and the rest. So, what are the threats facing the hospitality business in Nigeria? The threats are these: the emergence of substitute products. I've justified that. Tax incentive by the government. You can see look at this point number 2, please. The tax incentive by the government is an advantage, is an opportunity that attracts a lot of people. So it's a melody of relief to all the participants in the industry. But at this time, it's a threat. It's a problem because that tax they are giving all the industry companies, it attracts new entrants. It makes a lot of people to come into that industry. and increase the level of competition, particularly for our local firms. So we have increasing technology. This creates lower entry barriers and increasing operating costs. Yes, lower entry barriers. Because any company that is technologically advanced, they can easily come into the industry and operate. So another threat in the hospitality industry is COVID-19 pandemic. COVID-19 pandemic is another threat that we have. So all the threats, I've classified them for you here, including the ravaging insecurity of life and property. So what is the implication of this pestle analysis that we have done? Because it's a collective thing that we do together, and we are going to do it collectively too in the forthcoming pre-scene exam. The implication of the pestle analysis is this: the diversity in cultural heritage, resources, and historical geographical location, coupled with commercial viability of Nigeria, travels, and corporate events. It made the industry to be attractive and profitable, and at the same time, it will cause increasing competition. So the tax incentive, what is the implication? Government tax incentives. It provides dual effect. See how I put it. That the incentives given by the government provide dual effect. What is the dual effect? It provides financial relief to the operating companies because the tax they are paying is reduced. It boosts the business industry and reduce tax burden. However, it attracts new competitors into the industry. Do you get it? So, in addition to the tax incentives, there's going to be future influx of new entrants into the industry. And that will be due to attractiveness and government incentives. So we have it that insecurity in the country have a grave and negative effect on the local and international hospitality business. Up to now, insecurity is pronounced. It has led to loss of life and property. It has chased away a lot of our investors. It has hindered socioeconomic viability in Nigeria, and it's affecting the patronage in the industry. So, what are the recommendations on the pestle? You can still see that we are still on the pestle, but I try to do a very valuable and critical justice to that S2. So, the pestle recommendations to traverse amidst threats in the operating environment are these: adoption of green tourism. That is one recommendation we are giving the traverse. Two, adherence to environmental sustainability policy and green tourism demand. Customers are demanding for that. So, three, adaptation to diverse customers' cultural heritage. Four, corporate investments in renewable energy sources and effective waste management. And because that industry and the economy is becoming diversified, there is an urgent need for effective recruitment of the right quality and quantity of staff with technology driving skills. So all these recommendations are given to better the service of Travex Hotel Limited. In what way is Porter Diamonds relevant? Maybe by the time you see the scene, you now see more information that can give us justification for Porter Diamonds model. But see what I put there. Now the students are required to expect this in the examination because it is germane for external business environmental analysis in conjunction with the C that above. In the preceding, giving adequate information that aid demonstrate. So we are telling you that in the that can fully unless we see the full that Porter's diamond story is relevant. That is factor condition. On the country that have this factor condition, be it basis factor or demand factor, short complaint, we do very well. If you have the basic factor, land, labor, capital, entrepreneur, sea, water, soil, and they are used effectively, you have edge. If you have the advanced factor, that is investment in your staff, investment in technology, church companies too perform very well. And you can see we are in form of collaboration between foreign international hotel and local hotel. That collaboration, we should suspect that Porter's Diamond is relevant there because it talks about collaboration and support from related companies within and outside the company, or even from the government. And that's what the likes of Dangote and the rest are enjoying. Boa, the support within and outside. They create artificial monopoly for them. So we have it that in the case studies too, the existence of competition from local, international building owners and boutique firms. This one will require Travex to have a very good and effective functional organization structure, strategic formulation, implementation, evaluation, and control, and competition analysis. So Porter Diamonds is very, very relevant in this aspect. So in the next exhibit, which is exhibit 4, the exhibit talks about Travex Hotel Limited, history, board, management, and competition. You can see here, just like what I told you from the onset of this lecture, there are a lot of irrelevancies. All the names they are telling us, Mrs. Banjoko, Dr. Koforola, and all these things. We don't need those informations. So in exhibit 4, they give us overview of the company. The company Travex was established in 2001. 2001 in Abuja, 5-star hotel. Then it was managed by MTS company. It was established in Lagos in 2010, and began operation 2 years after. That is in 2012. It is mostly patronized hotel in Abuja and Lagos. And it is equally patronized by the government and professional bodies. So it has a balanced board composition and management committee. That is the only thing I can see about all these names. Aside that, we don't need it. Because I look at names and I see, check the assigned portfolio. I see, oh, what are the threats facing direct competition from another threat? Eroded customers base and patronage in both Abuja and Lagos by competitors. And there is tendency for the threat of future decline in customers' patronage and profitability, most especially due to this influx of new companies that are just coming. So what are the opportunities that are bound in Exhibit 4 for the company? We are informed here, when my guy was reading, that there is assurance of full recovery, promising and profitable returns in the hospitality industry across the globe, Nigeria inclusive. So tax incentive reflected in this passage too. Another opportunity, economic diversification to cushion against over-reliance on oil and gas. Another opportunity is economic growth increasing business traveling and tourism. And the opportunity is that operating in Nigeria give you room to nurture your business and make landmark profit. Because operating in Nigeria, we serve as economic hub in West Africa. It's a good strategic location. So in this exhibit 4, another thing that should come to mind under our modeling is that we should be able to do SWOT analysis of the company, and at the same time think of their critical success factor or key performance indicator. And that's the reason why you see that I put SWOT recommendations for Travex. So what are these SWOT recommendations? There should be a swift and proactive operational and strategic business plan, policy and actions, including analysis of the financial status of the company. Number 2, the company must be able to adapt to diversity and dynamism in the business environment, including changes in the consumer attitude, perception, behavior, buying habits, and lifestyle due to the pandemic. For the company to succeed, it is a must. They must prioritize environmental and business sustainability goals. And for them to achieve that, the only way they can achieve that is by leveraging on competency, core competency, and capabilities of Travex. Above all, they must improve in critical customer relationship management, CRM, customer relationship management. Critical success factors must be identified and evaluated, including their KPI, key performance indicators, in order to improve their customers' satisfaction. So if that is taken, so we discover that travelers will be able to try on. There is need for them to constantly look at their SWOT analysis, key performance indicator, customer relationship management, and at the same time, competition analysis. Because the degree of competition in that industry is cutthroat. It is intense. And the competition keep increasing because so many companies are interested in coming to Nigeria. So from exhibit 1 down to exhibit 5, you will discover that there is no passage or lines there where the company did not make mention, where the examiner did not make mention of competition. So that means you should come to your mind as someone that want to answer question on this case study, that you must analyze the level of competition in that industry. And the only model that we use to analyze the level of competition in any industry is the Porter's 5 forces competition analysis model. So the Michael Porter 5 forces competition analysis model is very, very relevant to exhibit 4. It is germane. And we all know that the Porter 5 forces model comprises of 5 models, elements that we must study, analyze, justify for us to know the degree of competition in the industry. You know, according to Michael Porter, Porter says that the 5 forces model help us to keep an eye on our competitors because our competitors are poisonous to our business. So due to that, You must ensure constant environmental and competition analysis. So using the Porter 5 forces model for competition analysis in the hospitality industry for Exhibit 4. So the first thing that we have to look at is the new entrants. Who are the new entrants? The new entrants are the potential competitors that are vying, making spirited efforts to enter into the attractive hospitality and hotel industry in Nigeria. This new entrants, Porter says that we must not allow them to come in because they will pose a lot of serious challenges. They might be coming with superior innovation technology strategies. So, since they are poisonous to our business, Porter says we must place a high entry barriers to limit the number of these new entrants that will eventually emerge. So, what are the new entrants, or what information was provided in Exhibit 4 about new entrants? The new entrant, we have information that foreign hotels abound in the Nigerian hospitality industry, and they are even going with collaboration with local hotels. So, new entrants talks about competition. Then we must know that the local building owners and boutique firms operating in the micro hotels, they are competitors too, that are operating on a micro level. The second element of the Porter 5 forces model is availability of substitute products. The question now is, if I may ask you, is there any availability of substitute product? Yes, there is. There is foreign hotel, fair collaboration. We have local hotel, and at the same time, we have local building owners and boutique firms operating in a semi micro level, and all this one, their price is relatively cheaper. What of the bargaining power? Bargaining power of the suppliers. The suppliers here now refers to all the complaints that is operating in the hospitality industry, including Travex. So bargaining power of the supplier then means the operating complaints. So the bargaining power of the supplier is very high. It is very high due to what? Innovative services. They are not at the mercy of any customers because they are innovative. Two, they have good reputation, including Travex. They told us at Exhibit 1 that is a reputable organization. The bargaining power of the company is high. It's high because of ecotourism and environmental sustainability compliance. You know, the government is demanding for it, the consumer is demanding for it, and they have spent a lot of money to meet up with the customer's demand, government demand, and create favorable satisfaction and consumer trust. So they have high bargaining power. So, and they have been investing in a lot of technology, including renewable energy. So, what of the bargaining power of the customers? The bargaining power of the customers that we refer to as the buyers is low. Their bargaining power is low, but with high demand for ecotourism and certificate of legitimacy. The bargaining power is low because they don't have that tendency to make much demand in time of price and some other things. But the areas where they have high bargaining power is an area that if you are not operating green hospitality, we are not patronizing you, but we are not ready to lose our life. If you don't have the certificate of legitimacy, like IS 3000 and the rest, we are not patronizing you. If your company did not comply and the customers green demand, look at what I put here. Let's start again. The bargaining power is low, but with high demand for ecotourism and certificate of legitimacy that can cause possible switching behavior if not met. Any company that did not meet these
Hello, sir.
expectations and demand, the customers
Hello, sir.
place, they will go and patronize another
Hello, sir.
hotel. Hello, I
Hello,
can
sir.
hear you, sir.
Sorry to
Hello, I'm
just
with you.
yeah, sorry to just make a little bit of observation. Now, sorry, this Porter's
Okay.
546 you spoke about now. Are you using it actually
Yes.
to analyze the exhibit 4? And then because I'm looking at the passport paper.
Yes, I'm using it to analyze as a before.
Okay, now what I'm trying to say that the write-ups
Hello, I'm with
in
you.
that, the print on that exhibit 4 is just comprises of the board and few other write-ups like the history and other thing, the competition and otherwise. But the points you are bringing out, I think it's like irrespective of exhibit 4, the points you're bringing out has to do with every part of this pre-scene because the point you're highlighting here.
Yes, that's the reason why we say, God bless you, sir, that there are some hidden points. There are some hidden points that we have that scatter here and there that are peculiar to a particular exhibit. So it is now our duty to search for all these scatter valuable points, integrate them together to make recommendations and judgments. Is that understood? Because we can't just talk that,
Okay, sir.
okay, the company is advised to use Porter 546 model. The examiner will look at it. Well, it's a relevant point. They might just give you 1 mark. Justify it. What are those points that demand for this use of Porter 546 model? And that is exactly what I do now. I will now
Okay.
glance through all the exhibits to bring those points that are relevant and that require the need for Porter 546 competition analysis. So I love that.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much.
Okay, look at under competition now. The 5 elements under Porter 546 model is competition among rivals. And when you look at this, the competition here is high and increasing due to advancement in technology. But I even fail to put it here that the competition keep increasing due to attractiveness of the government tax incentives. Is a point here which escape my own mind too. Can you say that nobody is perfect except God? So the level of competition keep increasing, is high and increasing due to new companies that are still coming. So the level of competition is high due to ability of more products. This one increase the rate of competition. And thank God that you asked that question. And that's the reason why you must use that three reading method or approaches that I tell you. Skim reading. You have to do that. First of all, read, glance fast, read slowly, and jot down. You now read critically and analyze your points by underlying valuable points that you need. While you are reading, you can use pencil. That this one will go for SWOT. This one will be useful for competition analysis. Is that understood? So, what are the implications of the 5 forces model for travelers in the hospitality industry? The implication is that they must prepare and know that there is likely future increase in new entrants because the government is diversifying the economy. The Nigerian government is investing in the hospitality industry. The Nigerian government is expecting about 12% increase to gross domestic product in the hospitality industry. So they want to reduce their reliance on crude oil alone. So government too on their own is investing in technology. So travelers must be on top. They must have that competitive edge and know that this competition will keep increasing. Okay. The implication of the 5 forces model is that there is a stringent government regulation on environmental sustainability. So we must ensure we abide with this and all other regulations so that we will not be able to weaken our competition. Because any company that fails to abide with all these laws and regulations, code of corporate governance and many more, they are going to have a damaged reputation. It will weaken their competition and they might lose their competitive position. They get it. So the another implication of this is that there is a future increase in competition due to attractiveness of the industry. That is one point. Tax incentive, that is another one. Strategic alliance. All this strategic alliance is understood before I proceed. Strategic alliances. Hello, I need a response, please. Hello?
Yes, sir, it's understood.
So the reason why I mentioned strategic
sir.
alliance here is that we are informed in that case that the multinational company, international hotels, are going in alliance with some of our local hotels. So that's the reason why I put it as strategic alliance. And if you like, you can use the word collaboration that they use in the case study. So this exhibit 5 here, this is where Mr. Wasu Opola will do more justice for you. He's going to handle this aspect of financial statements in the case study. How we are going to go about it, he's going to start the lectures with you very soon. But in relation to the case that we are looking at, this aspect of the pre-scene was holistically explained in our pre-scene online lecture that I told you what to do and the rest. And what we can see in the financial analysis in the exhibit 5, just few things that I captured, is that one, the financial performance of Travex was poor in 2020. Justify this. This was as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic effect that reduced patronage for hospitality and tourism services. So nearly all industry, and particularly this our industry of focus that we have been tested on, the performance of Travex Hotel was poor due to the pandemic. Number two, Travex experienced improved financial growth between 2021 to 2022 when you look at the information that was provided to us. So their debt to equity ratio is high. It's a little bit high. So in that our exhibit 5, also you can see this point that goodwill was not tested for impairment because it was constant for 3 years. So, but I told you that last year pre-scene, no information was provided in any of the exhibits about the financial statement of the company. When you have that kind of case study scenario, we have to improvise. We look for artificial financial statement, either from a company for us to teach you and tell you what and what that you can do. So this exhibit 5, I'll leave that aspect for my boss. My team lady will do proper justice for it. So the last exhibit, which is exhibit 6, that is the hospitality business. So the hospitality business, it was capture sustainability and innovation. And this was the area that talks more about the environmental sustainability law, environmental sustainability demand, and many more. The eco-tourism, this aspect talks about the global warming, environmental protection. So that's what the SCP 6 talks about. Because while my guy was reading, I listened attentively. So that SCP 6, hospitality business. So this SCP 6 requires sustainable business practices and technological innovation investments. When you read the entire SCP 6, very small, minute, but it provides a lot of information. So it requires sustainable business practices and technological innovation investments. 2, It provides opportunity to gain tax incentives from the government by adopting sustainable green policy. And that is exactly what SCBC is all about. Green policy, green hospitality, green business. In SCBCs, there is a quest for sustainable, eco-friendly hospitality demand by the government, the customers, the investors, both in the local and the foreign hotel industry. So what are the ethical challenges in SCBCs? The ethical challenges is environmental and water pollution. We must look at these areas very well and ensure that we don't fall victims of litigation, or we don't betray the trust and confidence of our customers that are loyal and those potential customers that want to patronize us. Two, first must excel in this area. And that was what I used that word for: lean manufacturing, carbon emission, of environmental pollution. So, ethical challenges: high-powered energy consumption for operational activities, and is a concern for the company. Travex Hotel is putting everything in place to ensure that they have what we call energy conservation and green service delivery. So they have to look at the ethical, hygiene, and safety, and above all, compliance issues. So what are the sustainability green practices to be adopted by the company? Sustainability green practices. Based on what we are provided with, the use of the motion faucet to reduce water wastages in both the public spaces and restroom. Because these are motion sensing faucets do with our body shadow. So when you put your hand, you see the shadow, the sense water comes. If you remove your hand, the water stop. So we don't need to beg customers that please, or put any label that please close the tap after use. So you can invest in technology. It promotes good management of our resources and minimize our operational expenses. So another thing is usage of eco-friendly magnetic key to minimize electricity consumption and wastages. This one is a very good innovative idea, a cost reduction method too, and is a value adding. Increase the customers' perceptions and value about our service. Another thing they can do in SCBC is adoption of solar power, such as solar heaters and biofuel to reduce electricity costs and conserve energy. So I put it to you that you can advise the company to embrace the use of the 3 R's. What are the 3 R's? Reduce waste, recycle waste, and reuse waste for effective waste control. It's been stated there, and must reiterate that the company must ensure full adoption of AI, because this one will increase the customer's engagement. It will even help in the area of customers' complaint and feedback. It will increase our value to the customers. It will increase our efficiency, and in some areas minimize overhead expenses. So the use of AI, the use of robots, they are an essential thing that the company can do to add value. So with this, we have analyzed all the exhibits to have this basic background information that we have provided as a pathway for solution in some of the we might be asked in the preceding exam. It is not our duty to now use this as a guide to read and read the case study on your own again. While you read, you look for valuable information. So after reading, so you can look at the tentative areas where questions can come in. And now you can apply all these models effectively. And you can see that the models that we have advised the company to use here for their business environment, we advise to use pestle analysis, C analysis, the justification and what to do, we inform them. For the same business analysis, we advise them to use what we call damage theory. For competition analysis, we advise the to use Porter 546 model. So these are the things that the ICAN require. Now, in the case study analysis, the students are required to familiarize themselves with all the models, theories that they have learned, and the ones that they come across that will be applicable for case study. So one thing I have to inform you again is this, that in case study analysis, have diverse opinion, diverse source. Why I recommended 3 now. If I read this thing again, I can recommend another one. Another person can see from another perspective that okay, this is relevant, this is relevant. So we can have different answer, but we must justify it. It is that justification, expert judgment, that attracts the examiner. It's not funny that after this exam, this IELTS exam that we are looking at, 2024, I have 2 case scenarios. Students that partake in our presim pass. Even those people that came externally, they all pass. So one student that said that, Mr. I'm very sorry that I disappointed you. I said, oh, you don't disappoint us. We are working towards collecting sources. That what happened? He said a fake case study. Over him, we talk in office. There is no time for him to even study. That the precinct that he even participated, he couldn't read it. If he can just use residual knowledge, that he signed in accounts, maybe probably the CC and the 2. So he went to the exam hall. At the end of the day, he failed the exam. And that told me that is when other students came out, they are just rejoicing. That thank God for that precinct that we did. This and that. So I have another student that told me that, Mr. Lee, when I get to that place, the tension was much show. Because I was looking at page 2, page 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Get there. So all the analysis that we did in financial and the you gave us, I don't know how I do it. I was just putting everything down. I've read and crammed some. And at the end of the day, it passed. So we need adequate preparation. The precinct will be released some days to the exam. It can be 2 weeks, it can be less than 2 weeks. Once we have it, you start reading. On our own password that I told you, we start reading too. It's a collective task and responsibility. And the special grace of God, God is going to give us that spirit of retentive memory and success. So by next week, we continue with our SFM class. So by end of the month, we are going to announce we do a case study. So all necessary materials that we need, I'm going to provide this for you. And this particular one that we do, please give me till evening tomorrow morning, because now I'm going for VI. I'm going for the examiner report on this case so that we can be able to see the sync questions asked. So thank you very much for your commitment, perseverance. So God will your efforts. Is there any question before we call it a
Yeah, I
day?
have a question.
I meet next weekend.
Hello, sir.
I'm with you, sir. Hello, I'm with
So
you,
my
Ogami.
question is that, like what has been done here, I
Yes, sir.
understand everything. But is it that they'll just give
Okay,
us
sir.
this type of scenario, and then we'll now be the one to begin to deduce what to do with it? Or there are particular things that will say, okay, do this, do this, do this. I don't know if you understand my question.
Okay, yes, and they are going to give all this scenario. Once they give us the scenario, we are the one that will now have what we call analytical and strategic thinking. What can I do with this case material? How can I list it? Is that understood? So how can I
Okay.
dissect all the information provided in estimates 1, 2, 3, 4? So it is only in the exam we're not going to see the, that's the reason why we're calling the scene. There might be some hidden information that is not provided. So that question, the only thing that you are required now is they might tell you that response to sent by Michael Shukura, probably on the financial status of the company and the areas of potential classification that the company is contemplating, looking at their financial status, the resources at the disposal of the company. Do you get it? And the operating
Yes,
environment and the industry. So it is in the exam condition that we are going to know the exact thing that they will ask us to do. Do you get
okay.
this? So
Okay.
what we are doing
Yeah.
is that once you have the receipt, you do adequate preparation to the likely areas, the likely models, the likely accounting solutions ratios that is peculiar or in the case.
Okay,
Hope
I
that is clear,
understand.
sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, in view of no question, enjoy the rest of your days and lecture. We'll meet in peace next weekend. Thank you. God bless you all. I'm proud of you.